Okay, so it's been a little bit since Abe and I have just chatted about Lincoln's life, so I'll talk just about a couple stories here. We're going to start when Lincoln was living in New Salem, Illinois in the 1830s. This was during the outbreak of the Black Hawk War, which is the last native uprising in the state of Illinois. Even though Lincoln has no prior military experience, he's elected as a captain from people in town. I think this just goes to show that Abe Lincoln was very well liked. He was known for all of his humorous anecdotes. While he's serving in the Black Hawk War, he meets a man by the name of John Todd Stuart. John Todd Stuart is a cousin, in fact, a favorite cousin of Mary Todd, who will eventually become Mary Todd Lincoln. Mary Todd Lincoln and Abe had not met at this point. In fact, Lincoln and John Todd Stuart will become law partners, and you could really make the case that without John Todd Stuart, Lincoln will never get into law in the first place, but he recognizes Lincoln as somebody that was very intelligent and really pushes him towards a law career, and then from there, Lincoln will propel himself to becoming the president. So one of those underrated, what ifs. In this case, what if Lincoln never meets John Todd Stuart? Who knows? Now, as far as Lincoln's patience is concerned, there are a handful of stories where Lincoln just shows what a patient person he is. Something that he did fairly often is when Lincoln would get upset over whatever situation had arisen, he would write really strongly worded letters, and then he would just stuff them in a drawer. He would come back after a couple days, read it, see if the letter was too harsh, revise it, and then send it out to whoever he was writing his letters to. Lincoln also is insanely patient with people as the president. One member would be Union General George McClellan. George McClellan oftentimes leaves Lincoln waiting for hours when Lincoln would call on him. When McClellan is the main general of the Union Army during the Civil War, Lincoln's cabinet members cannot stand this, but Lincoln continuously just says, no, it's fine. Lincoln will eventually get upset because McClellan, as Lincoln says, has the slows, and Lincoln will relieve him of duty. The Union Army goes through a handful of different lead generals. Even when talking about Ulysses S. Grant, when somebody brings up his drinking, Lincoln says, well, whatever Grant's drinking, I wish all my other generals had that as well, kind of a humorous spin on that take. Abe Lincoln, even with Mary Todd, there's a funny story where she is really upset with him and is chasing him around Springfield, or apparently at least outside of the block, where Lincoln turns around, just grabs her by the hand and says, not today, Mary, and then just calmly walks back inside. Whether or not that story is fabricated or not, who knows? It's one that I've heard and I always like. Anyways, there are plenty of good Lincoln stories. I got time for one more. Prior to getting shot by John Wilkes Booth, Lincoln actually goes to a play that is starred by John Wilkes Booth. And during the play, Booth raises his fist at Lincoln multiple times. Mary Todd says something to Abe, and Abe's like, yeah, I don't think he likes me very much. Anyways, there's so many good Lincoln stories. He is my favorite, but I'm running out of time for always.